Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. I'm excited for this episode. This is very, very unique, and I love saving money. So this is a cool one. We're talking to the owner of The Trust Is You, and what she does is she helps people save 70% on federal taxes. And this is for the United States people only. So for 1099 income earners, you can stop paying capital gains, interest income, dividend income, rental income, and royalties. She's going to let you in on the secrets of the rich. So it's pretty cool. Rocking out today with Sally Gimon. Hey, Sally, you ready to rock?
I'm ready to rock, Tim. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. So we always start off here in a good note. So tell me a story of success in your business that we can be inspired by.
For me personally, I started real estate investing back in 2018. July of 2020, I took down a contract for what's called a bank-owned reverse mortgage. The woman had passed away. The bank can't own the property. I paid $20,000 for it. It was going to go to auction for $50,000 without even lifting a hammer or doing anything. I would make $30,000. Woohoo! Yay, Sally. Middle of COVID, I had to wait 13 months. During that time, in my national real estate group, one of our instructors, Garrett Gunderson, wrote a book called What the Rockefellers Do. I have a copy of it. It's the Rockefellers they call it the office. They have the Spendthrift Trust. My background is competitive intelligence. I researched it. I found the private law firm. I became a client, and then I became licensed to sell this. So I did two simple bill of sales. I Googled it. One bill of sale from my LLC to my name. Second bill of sale from my name to the LLC. I went to the bank, got it notarized. I'm in Phoenix, sent it to the attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. The next day, he asks for the first page of the trust. And on August 28, 2021, when my property finally went to auction, I had to wait. Instead of $50,000, it went up to over $64,000. I made $44,000 of pure profit. More importantly, because it was in the trust, I was at 24% tax rate. I saved $10,550 on my 2021 tax return. That I put more stuff in the trust, and I've saved so much money. I had mastermind my real estate group, and then I started my own company. I think everybody should know about this. I know you're in Canada. It comes from England, so hopefully there's something in Canada for yourself.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about this over the last probably 6 months, really. And I mean, it's got to be here too. I mean, there's all the rich people do the same thing. We already know that. But and
Exactly.
I know what a trust is, right? It's just that I think that the thought is that this is something that you need to be rich in order to get in the first place. And it's turning out that you don't have to be rich to get in the first place, do you?
Exactly. I'm going to be honest. That first real estate deal, I was in the negative. I had to pay for the trust. I out of my pocket, and I saved $10,550. Just to give you an idea, in 2022, when I wholesaled 6 houses, it paid for the trust 4 times over. I just did a crazy real estate deal here in North Carolina. A friend put down the down payment. It was a foreclosure that started way back in March of 2020, and then they had to finish it up. And we made $1.8 million and split in half. That all went through the trust. So the trust has paid for itself over and over again. But I started negative. I had to put money out to get the trust, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Well, it would cost something. Like, I mean, even to incorporate it costs money, right? You have to pay somebody. Is this a lawyer that you pay? Like, who is it that you pay to get this trust?
Correct. It is a private law firm.
Yeah.
They have the patent on, it's called the Benson Financial Trust. Paul Benson was a Harvard law professor. It's over 70 years old.
Yeah.
Uh, the law firm went to his partner and his sons, and now it's a grandson. The law firm I work on behalf of has a trust that is turning 350 years old in 2023. This comes from England when we were still a colony, back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England because he got in trouble chopping off his wives' heads. He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and the lords and ladies went back to the Magna Carta. So it's contract law. And again, the Rockefellers, US presidents, they know this. I've got articles from Forbes to give to people, Forbes magazine, and it says, oh, you must be making at least $2 million. The average person in my real estate group who's joining nationally is 56 years old, trying to make an extra, in 9 years, make extra money for retirement. And I want to keep it as inexpensive as possible to help them save money. So if you fix and flip 2 houses in a year, the trust is paid for easily.
That's awesome. All right. So now I'm interested to hear this next part because with the good note, there comes some bad notes, some things that don't work out as planned. So I'm interested, what kinds of roadblocks have you run up against and what kinds of mistakes have you made so far?
I was in a real estate group in Phoenix. I was the first woman to teach a mastermind every Thursday night for 18 months, 6 o'clock, teaching them about the trust. The gentleman who ran the group, I'm not going to use a name, he got a cut. When I sold a trust, we sold 14 trusts in that real estate group. He and I got into a real estate deal on our own. I was traveling after Christmas, and on January 12th, I sent him a simple text going, "Hey, I just checked my bank account. What happened to our agreement?" That's all the text said. Next day, we get on a scheduled Zoom, and I don't know if it's Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. I mean, the guy showed up as a whole different person. He's like, "You're calling me a liar. You're calling me a thief." And I'm like, I only asked, I was supposed to be paid $5,000 more for this real estate deal. What happened to our contract? That's all I asked. Well, he goes, "I can't trust you. I'm going to put your mastermind on hold for 6 weeks." I'm like, "I'm not a human yo-yo." And he goes, "Then you're done. You're out of the real estate group. I don't want you here anymore." I'm like, I didn't expect it. I mean, it was like this brick wall came down. Thank God. Do you know who Bob Proctor was?
Yeah.
I was a student of Bob Proctor's, Thinking Into Results. My coach there, Susan Ma, I contacted her and she's like, "I'll have a meeting with you tomorrow, 7 a.m. She gave me 3 things to do. She said, I have to move, I have to find a new real estate group, and I have to start my own company. That's January 13th, 2020. And it was hard. I mean, depression, everything else. I started The Trust Is You in March. I moved to North Carolina to live with family. I've done more real estate in 2022 than the previous 3 years all put together. And now I have a national contract with a business broker because when business is sold in the United States, most people don't know this, you're going to pay the federal government either 15% or 20% on the profit almost a year later. Like if it's sold in 2023, you're going to pay it April 15th, 2024.
Okay, wow. And
A lot of
January
information.
2020, yeah, January 2020 was right before all of this craziness happened too. So, wow.
Exactly.
Good for you for getting through that.
If you talk to me back in February of 2022, I shell shock, cry myself to sleep, to I wake up and I have a beautiful life. I mean, where I am now, the last words, Zach, I'll use the first name. The last words Zach said to me on that Zoom is like, "You'll be nothing without me." I'm like, who are you to say that to me? So I'm very happy where I am right now.
Yeah, it is interesting that all these, these things happen for a reason, right? You were probably more than nothing, now, right?
It was interesting because he was my friend, he was my mentor, he was my business partner. After it happened to me, 6 different people from the Phoenix office reached out to me with horror stories worse than my own. I'm like, why are you still liking this guy? I think he's a narcissist. I don't know if it's true or not, but how he reacted. I'm like, why do you let this guy ruin your life? One of the gentlemen who reached out to me, he's got ulcers because of a fight he had with Zach. I'm like, I'm done with him. He was making money off of what I was doing. He cut his nose off, in spite of his face. I mean, I don't know if I can curse on here, but he was a dumbass. That's all I can say. He was making money and he lost his cash cow.
Wow. Well, hopefully he learns his lesson eventually, but he probably won't.
Correct. So now he does have the trust, so that's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. So now let's talk a little bit about gathering fans. So I mean, you've had to start all over again. So how do you get people to come to you?
One of the things I do, don't laugh at me, I'm on TikTok. When I first joined, I didn't know you had to slide up. I didn't even have TikTok on my cell phone. So I'm coming up to my anniversary, July 31st, 2022. was my first day on TikTok. And God help me, those videos are pathetically ugly, bad. But I do 6 different videos. There's the business trust for 1099 income earners. And then the beneficial trust, I do 1 video for capital gains, 1 video for interest income, 1 video for dividend income, 1 video for rental income, and 1 video for royalties, different hashtags for whichever video I'm doing. And from there, I repost it to Instagram, to YouTube, to Twitter, to Facebook, and to LinkedIn. And I get more clients. My second week on TikTok, I do a live every Monday night Q&A, going over the trust. My second week on TikTok, a gentleman came on to the Q&A. He used his TikTok handle. His initials were MK and a bunch of numbers afterwards. He's like, "Hey, put the contract into the chat notes." I'm like, "Okay," didn't know who it was. The law firm called. That was Monday night. The law firm called me on Thursday morning. Like, "Is Michael so and so your client?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know his name." So he sold 2 warehouses on Long Beach Port and saved over $6 million in capital gains. Wow. And he sent me more clients. We're now friends. I now know his name. But at the time, 2 weeks on TikTok, and that happened. I go live on TikTok. I go live on Facebook and on LinkedIn and just talk about things. And I don't bring anybody on live because one time on TikTok, I brought somebody on live and they were completely naked. I'm like, "Oh my God, let me handle that." So I that's why I have my live every Monday night if people to answer questions for people.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? I had a guest, a friend here actually over the weekend who does TikTok lives as well. I thought TikTok was for kids, and it's turning out that it's not. There's a lot of people that are using TikTok. Yeah,
exactly. I have helped. I'm in a mastermind. I have helped a travel agent get the key for TikTok. You have to get 1,000 followers. So what I did was I went out to Google. I Googled top 10 real estate investors on TikTok, top 10 crypto investors on TikTok, top 10 dividend investors on TikTok. So every 90 minutes, my number one a real estate investor, I go to the site, I follow that person, and then I go into his or her followers and hit 30 people and stop. 90 minutes later, I go to number 2, do the same thing. 90 minutes later, and you'll keep doing this. When you hit 1,000 followers on your own TikTok page, you can put your link in there. So the Trust is You is a live link. Someone can click on it, and then you can start going live. I do a live 12:30 on Mondays at East Coast time and a live at 5 p.m. East Coast time on Friday. On Monday, I had 480 people on there. I got 16 new followers and 4 appointments. And last Friday, I had 320 people. I got more followers and 3 appointments from that. TikTok, I get more clients from TikTok than all the other social medias put together.
I think I'm going to have to activate some TikTok.
Correct. So you just figure out what your avatar is. So one of the clients I worked with, she had these beautiful videos. She's a what do you call it? A travel agent for cruises. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we started her changing her hashtags. Hey, cubicle life. I need a vacation. Things like this. So she got on live the first time on Monday. She stand up and she goes, "From the port of Los Angeles, I'm making this up. I have a cruise from Los Angeles to Cabo for 5 days, everything included, $500 per cabin. If you're leaving from Miami, things like this." In 1 week, she sold 9 cruises. The month before, she only sold 3. Wow. Another friend who does Mary Kay, she's up in Spokane, so she can do Canada and the United States. Yeah. She got to 1,000 and she goes, "This lipstick comes in 15 different colors and it's only $7.99. And she's got more clients in Canada now than she does in Washington State. TikTok's an amazing place to be.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out.
Hi, my name is Anik Malaf. I'm from Mastering Ascension, and I've been working with Tim Melanson and the Creative Crew Agency for a number of years now. Tim is my go-to guy for all things technology, and his team have helped me to really create the platform that I need that represents my brand, my message, and connects me directly to my ideal clients. What I particularly love about Tim is before he starts to dive into the technology, he always makes sure that he understands what your global view is, what your ultimate goals are. So then that way you're not wasting a lot of time back and forth switching around technology or platforms. He creates something from the get-go that is scalable, which is highly, highly beneficial for any business. What I've experienced from Tim and his team is they're highly responsive. They are a wealth of information, and they're going to offer you the tools that you need to really make the mark that you want to make in the world. So that's my recommendation for Tim. He's awesome. You're going to love every minute. You won't regret it.
So now, what about keeping the hat full? So let's talk about how to, how to work with your cash flow.
Cash flow, I help people learn to keep the cash flow. True story, I'm here in the Charlotte area. Half of Long Island has moved down here. New York style pizza is skinny, and there's a white pizza. It's excellent. So I met a friend. It's our favorite pizza place. We were sitting there talking. The owner, he's Italian. His name's Roberto. He heard me talking. He goes, can I ask you something? I pay a lot in taxes. So he and I got in a conversation with his wife, later. We got him into the trust. He's saving quite a bit of money. And his plan with saving this money is in year 3, he's got 2 locations of pizzerias now in the Charlotte area. Year 3, so 2022, 2024, he's going to open a 3rd place, and 2025, a 4th place. He's got 2 sons who help him in the pizzeria. He's then going to retire. He's going to leave both the pizzerias, 2 to one son, 2 to another. And he's just like, you're saving me thousands of dollars a year. He's brought me more clients. He knows people all over Charlotte who run their own restaurants. And he's just like, we need to save this money because people, like you said, people don't know it. This is a well-kept secret of the very rich.
Sure is.
And my job is to get it out to the people who need it.
Love it. What a great way to keep your cash flow positive by not paying as much money out, right? That's awesome.
Exactly. So keep doing what you're doing, but save the taxes. That's the most important part.
So now what about practicing? Like, how do you get good at what you do?
Great question. I've been doing a live every single Monday night, going over my slide deck for more than a year now. And I just, I tweak things, I add things. It's up to me to get the right message out to the people who come to my meeting. And the more I practice, the better stories I have. I now do a newsletter, a bi-monthly newsletter saying, here's a client that I helped save money for. I was telling you before we start recording, a business broker brought me this deal. A gentleman in Georgia, he had HVAC company. He's got bursitis of the knee, so he's getting on Social Security early. He sold his company for $1.7 million. He started it in his kitchen. He now has 12 trucks, 12 HVAC engineers going around. In Georgia, you need your air conditioning year round. That's it. Because he got the trust, I'm not a CPA, but at 15% capital gains, he's going to save $255,000 due April 15th, 2024. Or at 20%, he's going to save $340,000 in capital gains due April 15th, 2024. His wife, she was in on the conversation. She's like, that's 6 figures. That changes their retirement completely. Mm-hmm. He's 62. She's 58. They can live off of this for the next 20, 30 years. I mean, they need this money. And the business broker, I have a JV agreement. He got paid for that. And then the gentleman who bought the HVAC company started a business trust. So the business broker got paid twice on the same deal. So he made a second stream of income.
Well, okay, so let's go back to your TikTok videos again, because this is something. You go through your slide deck every day for so much time. Of course, you're going to get really good at what you do, right? But let's go back to the beginning, because everybody's got to start somewhere. And when you first start, you probably weren't awesome, were you? Or
I was horrible. Oh, I won't even tell you how bad I was.
So how do you get over that fear of just like not being awesome and starting anyway?
I would say anyone, your Led Zeppelin, I would say they were horrible at their first concert too. The more you practice a song, the more you practice the notes, the better you get. I still stumble over things. True story. I was born with a tongue tie, and I didn't get an operation until I was 3.5 years old and had to relearn English. I know I screw up continuously. Who cares? I'm not trying to be Kim Kardashian. I'm not trying to be, someone famous. I'm just trying to help regular people save federal taxes legally. In the United States, there's a safety net for poor people. The rich people know this, and it's the middle class are getting taxed so heavily. It's just not fair. I want to level the playing field for as many people as possible.
Yeah, and I think so. Your point about Led Zeppelin, like I think that the thought I think people have is that, well, if I go out there and I screw up this concert, this TikTok, everyone's gonna know. I mean, nobody ever sees any videos of Led Zeppelin's first practice.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
It's not there because it wasn't noteworthy. Neither will your first TikTok. Right. However, over time, you'll get better at what you do. And then by the time you're noteworthy, like that's what they say, right? They talk about the iceberg and the success. People only see the success because you spent all that time getting to that point. So you just got to start, and don't worry, nobody's going to see those first few videos.
One of my videos, one of my most popular videos, my hair's in my face. I look like a grumpy cat. I look horrible. And I'm talking about, this is a true story. A dad saw my video. This is last year about this time. His twin sons were going to go to SUNY schools, that state New York schools. The dad started investing in crypto, and he was going to take the money out to pay for them to go to college. He saw my video, and he's like, whoa, I didn't know about the tax consequences. So he's now a client. It took him a few months because he had to go to Coinbase and change his accounts over and things like this. His two sons had to get student loans. We knew the money was coming. And so when he got things switched over, he opened up the trust, didn't have to pay for it until he got the crypto coin. I saved him over $24,000 in taxes, because if he had done what he was planning to do, his tax bill, he's helping his kids go to school in September. His tax bill in April would have been over $24,000. He's an IT professional. He doesn't have that kind of money. He's just like, he's brought me more people. He's in a crypto club, and I've spoken in front of his crypto club 3 times now, and he gets an affiliate for everybody who signs up for the trust. So if you see that video on TikTok, I look like Garfield the cat, if that makes sense.
Well, and I guess that's another part of it too, is either they're not going to see it, or if the content is really that important, then people aren't even going to care. They're going there for the content. They don't care if your hair's in your face. They want to know how they're going to save a bunch of money or whatever it is that you do to help people, right?
Exactly. It's I have it pinned. I hate it, but I have it pinned because people need to know this, because dad was just trying to help out his kids and didn't know the tax consequences. In my real estate group, my friend Kelly is a retired preacher. He moved to Arizona. True story. On Super Bowl Sunday, 2021, it was his 4th time he went to go knock on the door of the house. Unfortunately, the man had passed away because of COVID. The daughter, who lived in Los Angeles, Phoenix to Los Angeles, you go across the desert. So she's waiting till it got dark to go back to Los Angeles. She knew she was going to lose the house. It was going to auction March 1st of 2021. They were able to save it from going to auction. She got her dad's. She was driving a 1994 Honda Accord. She got her dad's 2020 whatever car he had. My friend Kelly wholesaled the deal for $50,000. He was in my mastermind 3 separate times, knew about capital gains. He's like, no. I got credit cards to pay. I've got other things to do. I'll have other houses. I'll do it at that time. He had to drive Uber 6 nights a week in 2022 because he had a bill to the federal government for $990 on his capital gains. He's like, I'm your poster child. Tell everybody my mistake, because, he was retired preacher. That's not he wasn't planning on Ubering 6 nights a week. And, Buckeye is about 30 miles west of Phoenix. He kept going to the airport, and all the resorts are in Scottsdale. So it's about a 60-mile round trip for him to get the best rates and things like that. And he's like, I'll tell as many people as possible about this, Sally, because it was my fault. I should have listened to you when I wholesaled that deal.
John. Okay, so it's time for your guest solo. And I mean, we already know what's exciting in your business.
Correct.
So maybe tell us a little bit more about how we can find you and how we get started and all that stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Tim. At my website, The Trust Is You, I have an 18-minute video that you download, sends to your email, so you can watch it on your own time. I also recommend, I've had this happen to me several times. CPAs tell me this is all false. A textbook that people in law school who are going to become trust attorneys, I suggest for the CPAs to read, is called Scott and Asher on Trusts, 5th edition. One of the people who showed up to my Monday night class, his parents were going to sell 5 apartment buildings in the Bronx. You know, nobody in the family wants to be real estate investors. They went to the CPA. The CPA said this is false. Again, I gave the recommendation. The CPA literally set up a Zoom with me a week later. He goes, I read the book. I have 100 clients who need your help. He's getting a commission for sending me these clients. He's also learning how to file these taxes correctly for his clients because he never knew. He didn't study this in CPA school or law school. So again, this is one of my recommendations when someone is told, I don't mean to say CPAs and financial advisors are telling you incorrect information. They don't know the right information.
Yeah, and that's the case in so many industries, actually just about every industry. There's things that they're taught, and then there's things that they're not taught. And the things that they're not taught are the things that really would benefit us the most, really, when it comes down to it. The things that they're taught are the things that, like you just said, right? I mean, this is something that the rich people know. They pass this down from generation to generation so that they all know what's going on. Now, it just doesn't get taught to the average person. So it doesn't get into us. But I mean, we live in a great age, information age, everything's out there. We can, it was baffling to me that we were being told to not do your own research because that just blows my mind.
Yes.
Like, definitely do your own research. I mean, it's out there. We can find that information. And, if something's not being taught, then how would we know? But now it is being taught by people like you. So thank you, Sally.
Well, thank you, Tim, for having me on here because, when you talk about working from home, I don't know the statistics for Canada, but in the United States, 60% of the people have a side hustle. Your side hustle is 1099 income. I can't help you with the W-2, but this was a side hustle for me, and it's now become my main business. A real estate investor, I still do it once or twice a week, but I talk to more people, sell more trusts than I do in real estate now.
Yeah. And you know what? I've been self-employed now for 15 years. And
congratulations.
When I first started, thank you. And I used to work for a company, and I mean, all those things that we're told, go get a good job, work, 30 some odd years or 40 years with that company and, everything will be good. Well, that's been gone for a long time. And I know that, there's a lot of people that are scared to work for themselves for various reasons. I mean, the whole point of this podcast is to show you there's so many ways you can make income for yourself. And the benefits, I mean, without this trust that you're talking about right now, the benefits to me through the last 15 years in terms of just write-offs against my taxes has been baffling, baffling for a home office, right? And here you have people that are, maybe getting a job because they want a benefits package, which just disappears as soon as you leave that company. And, all these things that are benefits of working for a company, there's an equal or greater benefit for working for yourself. And this trust thing that you're talking about right now is a massive game changer because that just blows the doors open on everything else, right? So,
exactly.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, thank you so much for sharing this information because I think that this is going to really help a lot of people to make that leap and start work for themselves. Because I mean, we can get so much further working for themselves. We can have more control over our time. We can have more control over our income. We're not dependent on this company to pay us.
You can have the days off you want. You can go where you want, when you want. I mean, you asked me a question about my videos, and I said, I do them every day, just, but when I travel, I purposely do them early and things like that. When you work for yourself, you have so much more options. One of my clients, true client, for 3 years, he kept going to a CPA. He's telling the CPA, I'm paying too much in interest income. 3 years in a row, his CPA said to him, you're buying too many houses. He's doing a BRRRR strategy where it's buy, rehab, resell.
Yep.
His friend tells me about the trust. He's got 85 houses. He's worth easily, let's say $8 million, everything else. We got him into the trust. We're saving him $135,000 a year in interest income. I met him at a party. I was down in Disney, Orlando. He and his family were there. His wife comes. This woman I've never met before comes over and gives me a huge hug. She's like, "Sally, you're a lifesaver." I'm like, "And you are who?" So he says, He goes, "Oh, I took a week off to bring my kids to Disney World." I'm like, "Why? Are you still working?" And he goes, "I need health insurance." I'm like, I know 4 different health insurance advisors I can give you in my phone right now. He's worth so much, and he's afraid, like you just said, he's afraid to quit his IT job because the safety net of having health insurance. I'm like, There's other options out there.
Buy your own health insurance. It's
exactly.
Sometimes actually it can be less, but I mean, at the very least, you have control over it. And if you change jobs and all that stuff, you don't have to worry about having to reapply and then all that business, because there's so many benefits to having your own health insurance, right? Love
Correct.
it. Thank you so much for rocking out with me. How do we find out about you again? One more time. What's the website?
The website, www.thetrustisyou.com. And then for Monday night, 8 p.m. East Coast time, www.thetrustisyou.com/QNA, Queen November Alpha.
Awesome. Thank you so much for rocking out with me today, Sally. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Tim. Have a great time.
Yeah. To the listeners, make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment. We'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar Podcast.